And his opponent, representing Berlin International Gaming, it is the German player ShoWTimE in the red. What do you think is the strongest European country right now? Let's get a little bit controversial. Who do you think is the strongest European country for StarCraft 2, and why is it Canada?
Just gonna go with the Netherlands, I think.
You're gonna go with the Netherlands?
Go with the hometown.
Just gonna go
sure.
Full home crowd?
Full home crowd. We're gonna win every tournament upcoming 2022.
Oh, okay. So then, who's your favorite Dutch player?
All of them. Every single one of them.
You're not controversial at all. How can we run a show if you're just so polite and you just love everyone equally?
I am a DreamHack caster. I am professional and will remain so. No, I mean, it's hard to pick. They're all very nice guys. You know, you don't want to. I don't really want to put one in front of the other one. You know?
Yeah, and honestly, they are all very closely matched. I would say Uthermal and Hearthstone, they're actually going head to head in a little bit on the A stream coming up, and they're pretty evenly matched. They have a really, I think, tight history amongst one another, but this is a PvP we've got here. So far, both of them going with the double gate on the high ground. Nothing crazy. We talked about crazy PvPs before with Max Pax and King Cobra, both of them a little bit off the reservation, so to speak. But these two are as traditional and standard as you can get in terms of their approach to the game.
Yeah, little difference with ShoWTimE going for the sentry, but you know, it doesn't have to mean that much right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to get you that early scout, of course, with the hallucinated Phoenix. Some players like to be a little bit of, bullies or a little bit jerky, and they'll go for that hallucinated Oracle just to give their opponents, a little bit of, heart troubles going into the series, which is always a good idea, but very mean.
So ShoWTimE making sure that the second unit doesn't get seen. Lilbow here doing the same. Nice way to kind of keep that hidden a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love especially from Lilbow, since he is going double stalker and he's going for the theoretically more aggressive route. ShoWTimE may read this as a stalker sentry opening versus a stalker sentry opening. Now, it's not that big of a deal one way or the other because they're both going to end up at 2 stalkers, 2 sentries. The main difference is that we have, a quicker scout coming in for ShoWTimE. Now, Lilbow going to be adding on even that 3rd sentry here, but so is ShoWTimE. So it's going to be effectively a pretty mirrored opening so far.
Yeah, both going for the Twilight. ShoWTimE, a slight bit ahead on that timing, but shouldn't make that much of a difference once again. And both these plays is kind of, probably what I'm anticipating here, gonna mech her up a little bit. Actually, we don't have the Forge here from ShoWTimE.
Yeah, not yet, but I think that'll be forthcoming once he's seen his opponent's Forge. The other option is, because his Twilight Council is a little bit quicker, he could go for like 3 Chrono Boosts into that Twilight and try and get very aggressive. Do I think we'll see that? Highly unlikely, because it's a pretty narrow timing. He knows his opponent has a lot of sentries. ShoWTimE's going to be the kind of player that will think about that. But we're not seeing a Forge yet, and that's a little bit weird to me.
Yeah, right? My first initial idea behind that, okay, there it is. It's like that, his idea is that I'm going to try to finish this before the upgrades come into effect, but the rest of his play doesn't really, suggest that that is his plan. But just kind of delays it a little bit here, is going to, get those upgrades slightly with a delay. So maybe Lilbow here is going to have some opportunities where he has that advantage, a slight advantage.
Yeah, and he's going to know the timing of it too. Lilbow has officially retired once again, but make no mistake, he has a gamer's mindset. He has an RTS pedigree. He knows what's up, and he knows how to take advantages of things like timings. And he's going to see the Forge just now. He's going to see, okay, it's pumping away. You're not going for any crazy all-in. Maybe I can make something happen with my +1 timing.
Yeah, exactly. We see him while he scouts that Forge add in 2 extra gateways. So I think you're kind of reading into his mindset here. quite nicely. See if that comes into fruition. This ShoWTimE already a bit aggressive here, set up. 2 Adepts trying to hit the mineral lines, but Lilbow not going to be caught off guard too quickly. They'll still have one of the Adepts come through. I think there's a shield battery there, but that should be fine.
It looks like... Oh, nice force fields coming out of Lilbow. Looks like he caught the Stalker and the Sentry. So ShoWTimE used those Adepts, knew that the army was focused here, picked off 3 probes at the 3rd base. The 1 Adept did end up picking a 4th off. So a nice little bit of damage coming out of Lilbow, out of ShoWTimE. However, Lilbow did pick off that Stalker and that Sentry with those force fields. So kind of ends up being, if anything, I would say a little bit Lilbow favored.
See, and also the timing for the +1 attack. Right now it has finished. I feel like it could have already been around the other side of the map. I guess maybe he's waiting for his Warp Prism also. But this gives a lot of time for that +1 attack for ShoWTimE to finish up as well. And I don't think that's going to wait around until the fight starts. So no advantage to be gained right there. Maybe Lilbow can make something work with his Stalker advantage.
The main advantage is he got those quicker additional gateways since he didn't take advantage of that +1 timing. Army supply is actually favoring Lilbow. He's up 4 Stalkers, but that Immortal popping out for ShoWTimE is going to be very, very important. Will it be up in time? It will join the fight. Guardian Shield does get popped by both players. Ooh, the blink forward coming in from Lilbow will isolate that Immortal. This is a great little find here for Lilbow. Is he going to be able to make anything happen? There's no shield battery at the natural.
Probes get pulled off the line as well, trying to get whatever he can. 11 probes have gone down. A lot of Stalkers for Lilbow, a little bit stuck here. ShoWTimE does manage to get a good angle all around on all the Stalkers, having everything shoot at the same time. Definitely helping him quite a bit. Is it going to be enough? Another Immortal comes out, and it looks like that will be enough to really start pushing this back. And ShoWTimE, I think he may have won it with that defense almost. At least that's what it feels like. I guess there's still an all-right amount of probes on the other side.
Yeah, he picked off a lot of Stalkers, had some great target fire. So initially, Lilbow had a really, really great position, got himself into a good spot, did have his Stalkers a little bit kind of bungled up against that Nexus, but was able to blink them all back and get them very, very efficient. However, as he retreated on out, ShoWTimE was able to just get enough to deal with that. He was able to get enough to deal with it, able to pick off like 5 or 6 red health Stalkers, and takes himself a nice little lead. And now he's got +2 on the way. He's got charge done. Lilbow, he's throwing down a ton of Zealots, not thinking about that +2, and he is going for round 2 here.
Yeah, it's probably the right call. A lot of Zealots overall. There's no Archons just quite yet. 2 Templar Archives in production, but no Templars or Archons anywhere to be seen just quite. The shield batteries haven't been remade either. Could make this more difficult to hold for ShoWTimE this time around.
Yeah, and ShoWTimE builds double Templar Archives right here. Not the best situation. He does spot this army coming. Oh, man. He needs to warp in some Archons as soon as possible. Getting a shield battery here at the natural. There is a lot more charge lots for Lilbow. Well, actually, only 4 more. Still, this is going to be a very scary situation. Battery overcharge should get popped. I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet from ShoWTimE. Oh, he's just going to get it. Let that battery run out of energy. Now Guardian Shield getting popped. That's going to help out a lot. Is there enough for Lilbow to break through, though? I think ShoWTimE might just have the defense. Nope, battery overcharge did get held long enough.
Yeah, that was it. The Archon is out now as well. I don't think you're going to break this anymore with the Zealot army. We'll see. I mean, he's going to try to make another go at this, and I don't know if it's going to bear any fruit.
Yeah, +2 weapons going to finish up in the middle of this fight. We do see a lot of Zealots here, but the defense from ShoWTimE, D. Mauer, is standing strong, and he does lose an Archon. However, most of the Zealots have gone down for Lilbow. He's still trying to break through. He does still have an army supply lead. That Immortal just barely staying alive, but a blink forward will take it on down. Lilbow is running out of steam, but ShoWTimE is running out of units. This is so close right now.
In the probes, as the shield batteries are completely out of energy now. Another Immortal comes in just at the right time once more. It does seem like that Robo is just waiting like, all right, do we need it now? Okay, I'll make sure that it comes out right at this moment. And just happening over and over again for ShoWTimE. So very, very nice that he's continuously on top of that production.
Yeah, that was such a razor's edge defense. Lilbow, he is down that upgrade, and he is not going for it. ShoWTimE trying to take a 4th Nexus. Lilbow going to see if he can get a kill on that. Nope, cancel. ShoWTimE too quick. Lilbow does have a lot of gas in the bank, and he's finishing up his own Templar archives. So he's going to be able to warp in, you know, that's probably going to be 3 Archons. Yeah. This is still... I like ShoWTimE's position a lot right now.
Yeah, no, sorry. Wow. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. There is... it's just the shield batteries here, right? And then you pretty much have the same army, same compositions, kind of same strength. ShoWTimE now moving away from his defensive setup, though, so that could be a bit of trouble for him. Coming in right now, maybe not anticipating Lilbow to be in a position like that. Oh,
yeah, most certainly not. But he is going to retreat kind of up to the high ground. I kind of like this from Lilbow and ShoWTimE. A lot of his Archons are bumbling around on the back, but he does have that battery overcharge helping a lot, adding on a lot of DPS. Sentry does go down, no Guardian Shield. And here comes the Archons for ShoWTimE. 5 Archons to 2, and they are just cooking their way through this Protoss army of Lilbow. The +2 weapons helping out so much.
Very well done, ShoWTimE. Finding victory. And will be able to claim the first game. Well done indeed. I mean, it's just a solid defense, and after the first one, right, it already feels a little bit desperate after this other attempts. But Lilbow, I mean, he made it closer than I had anticipated with his the rest of his attempts. So hats off to him as well for that one. And yeah,
yeah, that was like a 3-tiered all-in. He started with that 7-gate Blink Stalker with the +1. Almost broke through, but ShoWTimE barely held with that probe pull. Which, by the way, kudos to ShoWTimE for pulling the probes into that fight and then getting them back out of there at just the perfect time to not lose too many. Because if he had lost too many, he dies to one of those follow-ups, I think, you know? I think he takes too much eco damage. But great defense.
Yeah,
just
for sure.
Through and through.
It's just, you know, tanking that little bit of damage and zapping away a little bit, just eking out your defense, keeping those more important units alive. Very important indeed, as you mentioned. And then those probes just I don't know how many he lost exactly, but I don't think it was more than around 10.
Yeah, it was 12. He lost 12 probes during that, and that basically just put him to even. Because Lilbow had been cutting probes in order to make his attack happen. And we even saw ShoWTimE rebuilding his probe count a little bit when he got some breathing room. Even though that, you know, second attack with the charge came down pretty quickly after, it wasn't immediate. And it gave him enough time to just, you know, take his breath, relax, and figure it out from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's classic ShoWTimE, just catching his breath, relaxing, figuring it out as he's just defending everything. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Man is a wall after all. That is man wall. Oh, that is. So it would be a weird superhero. It almost sounds like just Manuel or something like that, but then it's Manuel. Sounds like you're mispronouncing an actual name, but all right, probably shouldn't start calling ShoWTimE that.
Manuel.
Manuel.
I mean, he's part man, part wall. So, you know, does that make him a werewall?
I guess so. Also, if you say it as man-wall, doesn't that make him primarily a wall and then also a little bit of man? Or is that the other way around? I always get those two confused. Anyway, he's more so a wall than a man anyway, which is... would work out. Would work out. Game number 2 is starting. That's nice.
I think this discussion has some important merits. I think we should pick it up later. But for now, we're going to get into game number 2. Spawning down to the bottom right position, representing big. It is ShoWTimE. Demauer stands strong once again.
And from Team Alta, it's a Frenchman, the blue Protoss, retired, but still kicking strong. It is Lilbow.
And I gotta say, kudos to him for having such a scary build setup in his playbook. Like, that kills a lot of Protoss. Like, that kills a lot of enemies on the ladder, I'm sure. But ShoWTimE, he is that cut above, that extraordinarily good defensive player. And we saw that. We saw that today. We saw that in game 1.
Yeah, for sure. Just what he does.
And it's almost boring how predictably good he is on defense, you know? Like, you're like, oh, here comes another attack, and ShoWTimE smashes it for the 7th time this game. Is he ever going to break?
Yeah. It's almost like you want to try to find a way to get ShoWTimE to be aggressive instead.
Yeah.
Not sure how you would do that, but...
Bait him into attacking you.
Yeah, bait him into trying to attack you instead.
You know, there is one Protoss player that does come to mind that I think of when I think of who baits players into attacking. Estrella.
The sewer mermaid himself.
Oh, well, Florencio, he baits people into attacking by existing. He just puts
like
people into the superposition of instant tilt.
Is that the person you were thinking about?
No, I was thinking of Estrella.
Oh,
Estrella always
yeah,
has these weird, that what looks like vulnerable walls at like his third base, or he'll do a build that looks on paper like it should be so weak to something, but then he just doesn't die, and you're like, well, crap, now I'm 30 workers behind. How did you figure this out? And he's like, he's just like, oh, I just got lucky. And you're like, no, you didn't, Max Angel. You knew the math on that.
You figured it out before. He's a very nice guy overall, very willing to learn out of every situation.
Yeah, he is one of my favorite players, just from a pure personality standpoint. He's such a nice dude. Like, sure. Honestly, like, God, he'd be like, at his own wedding, and he'd be like, hey, man, how are you doing today? And you're like, it's your wedding, I shouldn't bother you. And he's like, yeah, but I could tell something was wrong. And you're like, how can you tell something was wrong? You're at the altar. He's like, yeah, I just know you so well, man.
He's like, stop, priest, please stop. I need to talk to this man in the audience right now.
Does anyone object? I do. You're the groom. Yes, just give me a moment, please. My friend, he needs me.
What a guy. Well, it's pretty similar to the previous game, this one, by the way. It's Twilight Council's a little bit delayed from Lilbow.
Yeah, it's almost exactly mirrored. The only difference is ShoWTimE went for a 3rd Stalker instead of a 3rd Sentry, and got an ever so slightly quicker Twilight Council and Blink. But other than that, Lilbow's going for the exact same build. ShoWTimE making some very slight alterations, but not significant.
Yeah, so I don't know what Lilbow will be trying this time around. It's the +1 attack again. You think you could just try to be like more greedy towards ShoWTimE? I guess he's still like such a high caliber player. It's not like if you force him to attack, you just get a good position. But maybe that is one of the ways you could try to force him to be more aggressive, right? But just having, or being more proactive with taking more bases. Yeah,
100%. That's definitely an option. He is already up 4 probes. His Nexus was a little bit quicker than ShoWTimE's this game relative to game number 1. It was like, I think it was like 5 or 10 seconds quicker in game 1, and in this game it was about 20 seconds earlier. So he's actually up 4 probes. ShoWTimE is trying to make something happen with these Adepts. But I want to note a really cool move that Lilbow did. He used his own Adept Shade to block the wall, which means he doesn't have to waste money on building and canceling a pylon. It's such a nice little thing. It's because it's 25 minerals every time. Like, it's not free. It's, if you have to build and cancel that like 4 times, that's the Adepts almost paying for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. Actually, I would like to see more Protoss do that now that you mention it like that.
Oh, those force fields from ShoWTimE on the ramp, so good right there. And he pulls back the 1 sentry. He's going to be able to blink forward with his faster blink. Will take down 3 of the stalkers of Lilbow. Oh boy, this is what I talked about in game number 1, and this is what we're seeing come to fruition in game number 2. Taking advantage of that quicker blink and getting a lot done. And now the Adepts in the natural expansion pick off 5 probes. Oh, that's a really, really good start for ShoWTimE. And he gets to cancel on the 3rd. What does Lilbow do to try and catch up?
I mean, the one thing he has is this gateway over here, which he's gonna try to, I assume, get a couple of Adepts warped in at some point and try to do damage that way. It might be a good opportunity now, since there is a 3rd base for ShoWTimE where he can draw his attention towards, perhaps make an opening for a warping like that, but we'll see. Still a probe at the main base, protecting that entrance, ready to put down a pylon in case something like that happens. And Lilbow just going to utilize it as a warping location, a regular one instead of those warpers, and still be alright. Let's see how these force fields work out for them. It's been really good for ShoWTimE so far.
Yeah, those were great force fields from both players right there, locking out each other's sentries. However, it's ShoWTimE keeping all of his sentries alive, and Lilbow losing all of his, and +1 weapons will now complete for Lilbow, but ShoWTimE's already got the Stalker lead. And I mean, the big issue was that first shock where ShoWTimE didn't have his production done, but now he's got it all finished up. His +1 weapons is about to complete, and it is 6 gates for 6 gates, with ShoWTimE way ahead in workers and on a 3rd base.
Yep. Yeah, and even that weapons upgrade attack is going to go away pretty soon. Or, well, I say go away. The advantage is going to go away. ShoWTimE just, again, a masterclass in PvP here, it seems.
Yeah, he is just playing. Yeah. This is almost a flex from ShoWTimE with how cleanly he is playing this.
It's quite something to see, and now he has the shield batteries here as well. The army count got a little bit in favor for Lilbow, so I think he was a bit better perhaps with the target fire, but now most of his targets are a lot lower on the HP. So easier targets for the picking here for ShoWTimE. There it is. GG is